The red lights flashed across the control room of Earth's main space station. Commander Jake Morrison walked quickly between the rows of computers and screens. His boots made sharp sounds on the metal floor. Everyone was working hard, but their faces showed fear. "Commander, we have another message coming in," said Officer Ben Phillips. His hands shook a little as he worked at his station. "It's the same one we got yesterday. And the day before that." Jake looked at the big screen that Tetsu showed space. Dots of light filled it. Each dot was a different world, a different alien race. All of them were sending the same scary message to Earth. Dr. Lisa Carter ran into the room. Her hair was messy, and her clothes looked like she had not slept. She had been working for weeks to understand the alien languages. "Jake, I finished. Checking all the messages. They are all exactly the same. Word for word." Jake felt his stomach get tight. How many different alien races are sending this message? "Over 2,000, Lisa said. Her voice was quiet. "Every alien race we know about, even the ones that usually fight each other. They are all working together now." The message played again on the speakers. It had been translated into English, but Jake still felt cold when he heard it. The voice was not human. It sounded like metal scraping against stone. "People of Earth, you will submit to the Galactic Dominion. You have 72 hours to give up your weapons and your freedom. If you do not obey, we will destroy your world. Resistance is not possible. Many others have tried. All have failed." General Ryan Blake walked into the room. He was a big man, with gray hair and scars on his face from old battles. He had fought in wars on Earth, but this was different. This was bigger than anything humans had ever faced. "What do we know about this Dominion?" Ryan asked. Lisa pulled up her research on the screen. "I looked at all our old records of alien contact. 3 months ago, we were talking to hundreds of different alien races. They were all different. They had their own cultures, their own languages, their own goals." She touched the screen, and the display changed. Then suddenly, they all started acting the same. They all stopped their individual conversations with us. They all started sending this exact same message. "It's like something took control of all of them," Ben said. Jake studied the information. Earth had made contact with aliens only 10 years ago. At first, it was exciting. Humans learned there was a whole galaxy full of intelligent life. There were bug-like creatures called Zephyrians who could speak with their minds. There were beings made of crystal called Vortani who lived for thousands of years. There were energy creatures called Luminites who could travel through space without ships. All of them had seemed friendly. They shared knowledge and stories. Some even visited Earth. Everything seemed peaceful. "What changed?" Jake asked. "We think." Something called the Galactic Dominion started taking control of each race one by one, Lisa explained. "Our deep space sensors show huge fleets moving between star systems. Every time a fleet reaches a new world, that world stops talking to us as individuals. Then they start sending the same message." Ryan looked at the military reports on his tablet. "Our scouts counted the enemy ships. The numbers are bad." "Really?" "Bad. They have millions of ships. We have maybe 50 that could fight in space." "What about our technology?" Jake asked. "We are like children with sticks fighting against adults with laser guns," Ryan said. "Their ships are faster, stronger, and have better weapons. Their smallest ship could probably destroy our biggest one." President Helen Davis appeared on the main screen. She was calling from the emergency meeting in Washington. Behind her, Jake could see leaders from every country on Earth. They all looked worried. "Commander Morrison, what is your assessment?" The president asked. Jake looked around the room. Everyone was waiting for his answer. "Ma'am, we are facing something that has conquered the entire galaxy. Every alien race that fought them lost. They have technology we can't match and numbers we can't compete with. So, you recommend surrender? President Davis asked. Jake was quiet for a moment. He thought about his family back on Earth, his wife Sarah and his 2 children. He thought about all the people on Earth who were just living their normal lives, not knowing that their world might end in 3 days. I need more information before I can recommend anything, Jake said. Dr. Carter spoke up. Ma'am, I've been studying what happened to the other races. The pattern is always the same. The Dominion arrives at a world. They send the surrender message. If the race surrenders, they become part of the Dominion immediately. If they fight, they are destroyed within days. Has anyone ever successfully resisted them? The president asked. No, Lisa said. Not one race has survived fighting them. But also, no race has ever refused to surrender without fighting. General Blake frowned. What do you mean? Every race either gave up immediately or fought a hopeless war, Lisa explained. No one has ever just said no and meant it without immediately attacking. Captain Alex Turner entered the room. He commanded Earth's Space Defense Force. His uniform was clean and his face was serious. I just finished reviewing all our battle plans. If they attack us directly, we might last 6 hours. Maybe 8 if we're lucky. The room became very quiet. Everyone understood what that meant. Earth's entire military could be destroyed in less than a day. There is one more thing, Lisa said. I've been studying the psychology of the Dominion. They seem to expect immediate surrender or immediate hopeless resistance. They have a pattern they follow. They might not know how to handle something different. Jake looked at her. What kind? Of something different? I don't know yet. But every species they conquered followed the same pattern. Panic, then either quick surrender or desperate fighting. Maybe if we did something unexpected. President Davis looked tired. The Global Council is meeting now. Every leader on Earth is trying to decide what to do. Some want to surrender to save lives. Others want to fight even if we can't win. How much time do we have left? Jake asked. Ben checked his computer. 47 hours and 32 minutes. Jake walked to the big window that looked out at space. Somewhere out there, alien fleets were moving toward Earth. Ships full of creatures that had once been free but are now controlled by something called the Dominion. Commander, Lisa said quietly, there's something else I found. Something strange. What is it? In all the historical records I studied, the Dominion always uses the exact same words. Resistance is not possible, but they don't say resistance is forbidden, or wrong, or stupid. They say it's not possible. Jake turned around. What does that mean? I think it means they have never actually faced real resistance. They have never met anyone who truly refused to give up. The red lights kept flashing. The countdown kept running. And somewhere in the distance, an enemy that had never lost a war was coming to Earth. But for the first time since the messages started, Jake felt something other than fear. He felt curious. What would happen if someone finally told the Galactic Dominion no? The emergency meeting had been going on for 18 hours. Leaders from every country on Earth sat around the huge table in Geneva. The room was full of tired voices speaking in different languages. Translators worked quickly to make sure everyone understood each other. President Helen Davis looked at the faces around the table. Some people wanted to surrender. Others wanted to fight. But everyone looked scared. We have less than 12 hours left, she said. We need to make a decision now. Prime Minister John Roberts from Britain spoke first. My military advisors say we cannot win. If we fight, billions of people will die. If we surrender, at least some humans will survive. General Cheng Wei from China shook his head. Surrender is not survival. These aliens will make us slaves. Our children will never know freedom. Dr. Maria Santos sat at the end of the table. She was not a politician or a military leader. She was a history teacher from Brazil. But the president had asked her to come because she knew more about human courage than anyone else. In all of human history, Maria said quietly, we have faced impossible enemies before. The Spartans at Thermopylae, the British against the Nazi air attacks, the Americans in their revolution. We always found a way to keep fighting. But this is different, said President Nakamura from Japan. Those were fights between humans. This is the entire galaxy against us. Maria smiled sadly. That is exactly why we cannot give up. If we surrender without even trying, what does that say about humanity? What does that say about every human? Who ever died fighting for freedom? Back at the space station, Commander Jake Morrison was preparing the communication equipment. If Earth was going to send a message to the galaxy, it had to be done right. The message would travel faster than light to every corner of space. Dr. Lisa Carter had spent the last 6 hours writing different possible responses. Her desk was covered with papers full of words crossed out and rewritten. What if we try to negotiate? She suggested. Maybe we can offer them something they want instead of surrender. What could we possibly offer them? Asked Captain Alex Turner. They control the entire galaxy. They have everything. Officer Ben Phillips looked up from his computer. The countdown shows 8 hours left. If we are going to send a message, we need to do it soon. Jake walked to the communication panel. It was a simple machine, but it could send messages across millions of light years in seconds. His finger hovered over the transmit button. What does Earth want to say? He asked the room. Before anyone could answer, President Davis appeared on the screen again. Commander Morrison, the Global Council has made its decision. Everyone in the room stopped what they were doing. The moment they had all been waiting for was here. What is our response, ma'am? Jake asked. President Davis looked directly at the camera. The vote was close. Some countries wanted to surrender. Some wanted to fight immediately. But in the end, we all agreed on one thing. She paused and took a deep breath. Humanity has never bowed to tyrants. We will not start now. Our response is ready. Jake felt his heart beating faster. What should I transmit? Just one word, Commander. One word that represents everything humanity stands for. Jake waited. Around him, everyone was completely silent. No, that was it. One simple word. Jake stared at the president for a moment, thinking he had misunderstood. Ma'am, did you say just the word no? That's correct, Commander. Send it on every frequency we have. Make sure every alien in the galaxy hears it clearly. Dr. Carter looked worried. Ma'am, shouldn't we explain our position? Give them reasons? Try to make them understand? President Davis shook her head. They gave us a simple ultimatum. We are giving them a simple answer. No negotiations, no explanations. Just no. Jake looked at his crew. They all looked back at him. This was the moment that would decide the fate of humanity. Are you sure about this? He asked the president. Commander, in the past 72 hours, I have spoken to every leader on Earth. I have talked to generals, scientists, teachers, and ordinary people. Everyone agrees on one thing. If we are going to die, we will die as free humans, not as slaves. Jake placed his hand on the transmit button. Understood, Mom. Sending message now. He pressed the button. The word no traveled out from Earth. At impossible speeds, it reached the moon in seconds. Then Mars. Then the outer planets of the solar system. Within an hour, it had spread beyond the solar system toward the nearest alien worlds. The communication room became very quiet. Everyone waited to see what would happen next. How long before they respond? Asked Captain Turner. If they reply immediately, we should hear something in about 6 hours, Ben said. But they might not respond at all. They might just attack. Dr. Carter was studying her computer screen. This is strange. I'm monitoring all the alien communication channels. Usually there are thousands of messages flying back and forth between different worlds. What's happening now? Jake asked. Nothing. Complete silence. It's like someone turned off every communication device in the galaxy. Hours passed. The silence continued. No threats. No attacks. No messages at all. Jake was starting to worry. Maybe we made them angry. Maybe they are preparing a bigger attack. Or maybe, Lisa said slowly, we did something they didn't expect. In the deep parts of space, something incredible was happening. The Galactic Dominion had controlled alien minds for thousands of years. Every species that joined them became part of a giant mind that thought the same thoughts and wanted the same things. But Earth's simple answer had created a problem the Dominion had never faced before. The word no spread through their network like a virus. Every controlled mind heard it. And for the first time in centuries, some of them remembered what it felt like to disagree. On the crystal world of Vortis, a being named Zara felt something strange in her mind. For 50 years, she had followed the Dominion's orders without question. But now she remembered something from before the conquest. She remembered choosing her own path. On the insect world of Zephyr, a creature called Crix suddenly stopped working. For the first time since his world was conquered, he wondered why he was following orders from creatures he had never seen. Across the galaxy, millions of enslaved beings heard Earth's message and began to remember what freedom felt like. The Dominions. Leaders felt their perfect control starting to crack. They had built their empire on the idea that resistance was impossible. But Earth had just proven that wasn't true. In the communication room on Earth's space station, the team watched there. Screens in amazement. Commander, Ben said with excitement in his voice, I'm detecting something incredible. There are communication signals starting up again across the galaxy, but they're not Dominion signals. What kind of signals? Jake asked. Lisa looked at her translation computers. They're freedom signals. Species are talking to each other directly for the first time in decades. They're organizing. They're planning. Jake couldn't believe what he was hearing. You mean our message worked? It's working better than we ever imagined, Lisa said. Earth didn't just say no to the Dominion. We reminded every enslaved species in the galaxy that they could say no. 2. The galaxy had gone silent after Earth's reply. But now it was waking up, and it was angry. The first sign that something had changed came from Captain Susan Wright. She was flying Earth's fastest scout ship near the edge of the solar system. Her job was to watch for enemy fleets coming toward Earth. Command, this is Captain Wright. She said into her radio. I'm seeing something impossible out here. Commander Jake Morrison answered from the space station. What are you seeing, Captain? The alien fleets that were heading toward Earth have stopped moving. But that's not the strange part. The strange part is that they're fighting each other. Jake felt confused. Fighting each other? Are you sure? I'm watching it happen right now. A group of crystal ships just attacked a group of bug ships. But yesterday, they were flying together like they were friends. Dr. Lisa Carter ran to the communication equipment. Susan, can you pick up any of their radio signals? I'm trying, but there are so many different signals, it's hard to understand them. Wait, I'm getting something clear now. A new voice came through the speakers. It sounded like wind blowing through metal tubes. This is Commander Zara of the Vortani Crystal Fleet. We are no longer part of the Dominion. We choose freedom. We choose to help the humans who reminded us what freedom means. Lisa's hands shook as she adjusted the radio. Susan, are you getting more signals like this? Dozens of them, maybe hundreds. Different alien species are all saying the same thing. They're breaking away from the Dominion. Back on Earth, President Helen Davis was in another emergency meeting. But this time, the mood in the room was different. Instead of fear, there was hope mixed with confusion. What exactly is happening out there? Asked General Ryan Blake. Dr. Carter had been working all night to understand the alien communications. It appears that our message did more than just tell the Dominion no. It broke something in their control system. Explain that in simple terms, the President said. The Dominion controls other species by making them all think the same thoughts. When we said no, it proved that resistance was possible. That idea spread through their network like a disease. Now millions of aliens are remembering how to think for themselves. Lieutenant Colonel Peter Johnson walked into the room carrying urgent reports. Ma'am, our deep space sensors are showing battles in 17 different star systems. The Dominion. Fleets are fighting against fleets of their former slaves. Maria Santos, the history teacher who had been helping with the crisis, smiled for the first time in days. This has happened before in human history. When people see someone else stand up to a bully, it gives them courage to stand up too. The communication systems on Earth were now receiving hundreds of messages from across the galaxy. Most of them were asking for the same thing. People of Earth, said a voice that sounded like singing crystals. This is the free worlds of the Vortani. Please teach us how you found the strength to say no. We want to learn. Another message came from the insect worlds. Humans, we are the Zephyrian Liberation Army. For 60 years we have been slaves. Your word no reminded us who we used to be. Will you help us fight? Lisa was amazed. Jake, we're not just getting requests for help. We're getting offers of help. Alien species want to join us in fighting the Dominion. But not everything was going well. The Dominion's core worlds were fighting back hard. The original rulers of the Galactic Empire were not giving up without a fight. Captain Alex Turner was studying the military reports. The good news is that about half the galaxy is now fighting against the Dominion. The bad news is that the Dominion's main forces are still incredibly powerful. What do you mean? Jake asked. The species that are rebelling used to be slaves. They have old weapons and ships that the Dominion let them keep for basic work. But the Dominion's own species have the newest and strongest weapons. A new alarm started ringing. Officer Ben Phillips checked his computers quickly. Commander, I'm detecting a massive fleet approaching our solar system. These are not rebellion ships. These are pure Dominion forces. The main screen showed hundreds of dark ships moving toward Earth. They were bigger than any ships humans had ever seen. Even one of them could probably destroy every ship Earth had. How long until they reach us? Jake asked. 6 hours, Ben replied. Jake felt his stomach drop. Earth had inspired a galaxy-wide rebellion, but they were still going to be destroyed by the Dominion's main fleet. Then something unexpected happened. Captain Wright's voice came over the radio again. Command, you need to see this. I'm sending you video of what's happening near Jupiter. The main screen changed to show Captain Wright's view. A massive battle was taking place near the giant planet. But the ships fighting the Dominion fleet were not human ships. Those are Zephyrian and Vortani ships, Lisa said with excitement. They're trying to protect Earth. More alien fleets appeared on the screen. Energy beings called Luminites were creating barriers of light around the Dominion ships. Flying creatures called Airings were attacking in groups like birds. A voice came through the communication system. It was Commander Zara from the crystal ships. People of Earth, you taught us to say no. Now we will say no together. The Dominion will not harm the world that gave us back our freedom. The battle near Jupiter was unlike anything humans had ever seen. Fleets from dozens of different worlds were working together to stop the Dominion attack. Ships made of crystal fought beside. Ships made of living metal. Energy beings attacked ships while insect fleets provided cover. But the Dominion forces were still very strong. Even with help from the rebelling aliens, the battle was close. The alien allies are fighting bravely, reported Captain Turner, but they're losing. The Dominion has better weapons and more experience. Jake watched the battle on the screen. Ships were exploding all around Jupiter. Many of the aliens who had come to help Earth were dying. "We can't just sit here and watch them die for us," he said. "What can we do?" Asked General Blake. "Our ships are no match for Dominion technology." Jake thought for a moment. Then he had an idea. "Lisa, can you open a communication channel to all the rebel fleets?" "Yes, but why?" "I want to talk to them, all of them." Lisa worked quickly on her equipment. Soon, Jake's voice was being broadcast to hundreds of alien ships fighting near Jupiter. "This is Commander Jake Morrison from Earth. I have a message for all the free peoples of the galaxy." The aliens stopped their attacks for a moment to listen. "You came here to protect us because we taught you to say no. But saying no is not enough. Now we must learn to say yes. Yes to freedom. Yes to working together. Yes to never giving up." On alien ships across the solar system, creatures from dozens of different worlds heard Jake's words. "The Dominion thinks they can win because they are stronger than any one of us. But they have never fought against all of us working together." Suddenly, the rebel fleets began to move differently. Instead of fighting separately, they started working as one giant force. The crystal ships created shields for the insect ships. The energy beings gave power to the metal ships. The flying creatures carried messages between fleets faster than radio. For the first time in the battle, the Dominion forces began to lose ground. The galaxy had learned to say no. Now it was learning to say yes to freedom. 2 years had passed since the great battle near Jupiter. The galaxy was a very different place now. Commander Jake Morrison stood on the observation deck of the new Freedom Station, looking out at ships from dozens of different worlds docked. Together in peaceful cooperation, the war against the Dominion had lasted 8 months after Earth's message. It had not been easy. Many brave beings from many worlds had died fighting for freedom. But in the end, the combined forces of the free galaxy had been stronger than the ancient Empire. Captain Lisa Morrison, Jake's sister, had just returned from the former Dominion capital world. She was now Earth's first ambassador to the new Galactic Council. Her ship docked at the station with a soft bump. "How did the peace talks go?" Jake asked when she came aboard. "Better than we hoped," Lisa said. "The last Dominion worlds have agreed to join the galactic democracy. Even the overlords, the original rulers, want to be part of the new system." Dr. Lisa Carter was still working as Earth's chief translator, but now she had a much happier job. Instead of studying threats, she was helping different species learn to communicate as friends. "The overlords are not the monsters we thought they were," she explained to Jake and his sister. "They are just a very old race that forgot how to live without controlling others. They had been ruling for so long that they didn't remember any other way to exist." The peace agreement had been simple. Every world in the galaxy would govern itself. No one would rule over anyone else. If worlds wanted to work together, they would choose to do so freely. President Helen Davis appeared on the communication screen from Earth. She looked much happier than she had during the crisis, too. "Years ago, Ambassador Morrison," she said to Lisa, "Earth has received over 300 requests for trade agreements and cultural exchanges. It seems like every world in the galaxy wants to be friends with us." Lisa smiled. "It's not because we're special, ma'am. It's because we reminded them that freedom is possible. Now they want to celebrate that freedom with the people who helped them find it." The changes in the galaxy were amazing. The Zephyrians had opened their biotechnology research to everyone. Diseases that had killed people for centuries were now being cured with insect medicines. The Vartani shared their crystal-growing techniques, which helped build better computers and communication systems. The Luminites, the energy beings, had created new forms of art that humans had never imagined. They could paint with light itself, creating pictures that moved and changed and told stories. Commander Zara of the Vortani had become one of Earth's closest allies. She often visited the space station to work on joint projects. "Before your message," she told Jake, "I had not made a personal choice in 50 years. Every decision was made for me by the Dominion Network. Now I choose what to do every day. Even small choices feel wonderful." The former Dominion worlds were learning democracy for the first time. It was not always easy. Some planets had arguments about how to govern themselves, but they were learning that disagreement was better than forced agreement. Dr. James Patterson had become Earth's representative to the new Galactic Historical Project. Thousands of species were working together to remember and record the cultures that had been lost during the Dominion years. "We found something incredible on the old Dominion archives," he told the council during one meeting. Records of over 5,000 different alien cultures that were completely erased. Music, art, literature, science that was lost for centuries. "Can any of it be recovered?" asked Admiral Rachel Stone. "Some of it, yes. Many of the conquered species still have elderly members who remember the old ways. We're racing to record their memories before that knowledge is lost forever." The project had become one of the most important works in the galaxy. Young beings from every world were learning about the rich history their peoples had lost. It was helping them rebuild their identities as free cultures. Back on Earth, things had changed too. The planet had become the unofficial capital of the new galactic community, not because humans demanded it, but because other species wanted to learn from the world that had first shown them how to resist tyranny. Schools on Earth now taught alien languages and cultures. Human children played games with alien children through video links across space. The diversity of the galaxy was becoming part of human life, but the most important change was smaller and harder to see. Beings across the galaxy had learned that they had choices. They had learned that no one had the right to control their lives without their permission. Captain Susan Wright was now commanding the first joint human-alien exploration ship. Her crew included beings from 12 different worlds, all working together to explore parts of the galaxy that no one had seen before. "It's amazing how much we can accomplish when we work together by choice instead of by force," she reported during one of her missions. "We just discovered a new form of life that exists in the space between stars. None of us could have found it alone. The galactic democracy met once a year on a different world each time. This year, it was meeting on Earth. Representatives from over 1,000 worlds gathered in Geneva, the same city where Earth's leaders had decided to say no to the Dominion. Ambassador Karen Lewis opened the meeting with words that had become traditional. "We gather here as free beings from free worlds. We remember that freedom is not given to us by others. It is something we choose for ourselves every day." The meeting discussed trade, exploration, cultural exchange, and how to handle disagreements between worlds. But it also did something more important. It celebrated the fact that the galaxy was no longer silent. Every world could speak with its own voice. Every being could make their own choices. The great network of control that had dominated the galaxy for thousands of years was gone forever. Dr. Maria Santos, the history teacher who had helped Earth make its decision, was now writing a book about the Great Liberation. She often spoke to students from many different worlds. "The most important lesson," she would tell them, "is that freedom is not about having the biggest weapons or the strongest ships. Freedom is about having the courage to say no when someone tries to control you without your permission." Children from across the galaxy learned the story of Earth's one-word message. They learned how that simple word had broken the chains that held billions of beings in slavery. But more importantly, they learned that the power to say no lived inside every thinking being. It could never be taken away unless someone chose to give it up. The galaxy was no longer silent. It sang with millions of voices, each one different, each one free. Trade ships carried goods and ideas between worlds. Exploration vessels ventured into unknown regions of space. Artists shared their work across light years. And in classrooms on 1,000 different worlds, young beings learned that the most powerful word in any language was not a word of force or threat or demand. The most powerful word in the galaxy was no. The simple word that meant a being could choose their own path, make their own decisions, and live their own life. The galaxy would never be silent again.